They can hear us right now, right?
Probably.
So don't talk about suck dick anymore. Okay, just relax. Oh, hey, how's it going?
Don't tell me what to do.
All right. Welcome to Fine, I'll Watch It. I'm Smokin' Phat J.
Hi, Matt Christy.
James Kopp.
And we are here to continue or conclude our discussion on the Fallout TV series, as well as continue our discussion a little bit later on about Xmen 97. So
one of those two shows is the best show on TV.
One of those two.
And the other one's very good.
The other ones that we're talking about great shows right now, which is really nice.
What a turn from last year, you know what I mean? Like
I don't miss 2023 at all for television.
There was a lot last year.
Yep.
We had the Last of Us, you know, and the Last of Us is better than Fallout, but still.
The Last of Us lied to us about the year as a whole, though, because it started out the year great, and then Loki showed up eventually, but the rest of it was just like, here's a bunch of bullshit.
Hey, Jesse, when you get a chance, I got Photoshop on this screen over here. So a couple of weeks ago, we started talking about the first 3 episodes of the Fallout series. I had already watched it all the way through. Both of you guys needed to catch up a little bit. So we're back to talk about the rest of the series and the series as a whole. So let's start with you, Matt, because I kind of gave my opinion already. But I'll do it again. But give us your opinion as we do as a series as a whole.
The series as a whole is a wonderful series. I enjoyed it the entire way through. James will come up with some gripes here in a moment, but I don't really have many gripes with the series because, as I said before, last time we talked about it didn't try to emulate anything in particular about the games. Just took the lore and made a very good story around that.
It felt very much
I would argue this feels more like a video game than any other video game movie or show we've seen.
I agree.
Everybody's on fucking side quests. There's literally NPCs that I can't leave this area. I'm stuck here. Like, you know, it's the most like a video game. The dog was such a fascinating moment for me when the ghoul took over the dog and then it became his companion.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's such a video game thing of like, oh, this extra item, in this case, a living dog, belongs to this player, and then this player took it. So there's so much about this show that they really get right. And one of the things is it feels like a video game, for better or for worse.
And that's what I think I said that last time. It very much feels like just another, because Fallout is loosely tied together each game. Yeah. It's set in the same world, but it's more an anthology series, you know what I mean, within that world. And this felt very much like just another chapter in that anthology, as if it was another game. You know what I mean? Now I have my new protagonist. I have my new companions that I'm going to do all the side quests with. You know, and you know, I really thought it was strong, and judging by everything that I've seen, most people feel that way. There was a little bit of disappointment with the ending because it felt
I hated it. I fucking hated that ending. I hate this ending. I hate and I like this cast. I like this world. I love that they are following the video game, you know, lore in its own way, but they're using everything. Literally the stupid green printout on the screens. You know, they use so much from the game, and it's a delight to see that. That ending is fucking like it took it down a whole on our 5-point rating. 20% gone was because of that ending, where it was just like, your reveal was kind of lame. It also didn't make sense for her to just hold him hostage so that the kid could go there to be revealed. Also, when telling a story where you start out with 5 different characters, it's sometimes rewarding for the audience if they meet up together at the ending for a climax, if you will. But fuck that. You didn't need to do that. Keep the ghoul separate someplace else for no reason. And it was like, and then your big reveal, which sucked, and half of us guessed by episode 2, puts on a fucking armor suit and does a fucking poochie. Fucking now it's time to go back to my home planet and jumps out the window. And I was like, oh, there's another episode they didn't film.
It did.
That was my instant thought. They had an ending, and then things started to look good, and they canceled it and turned it into season 2 or something.
I
Nobody.
disagree.
Right?
I don't think that. I think that ending is exactly what they wanted. I do think that I was disappointed with the so much of the game is on with it, but and this is interesting because for the hardcore fans, that fucking ending was hard dick. You know what I mean? For everyone, because New Vegas is the most popular Fallout game.
Cool.
And that is the tease that they gave at the end, the Enclave stuff, like deep nerd Fallout lore at the end there. But you're right. And that's interesting to say because it's not something that is inherent to you as coming into it. And so it does.
I'm looking at this as storytelling point of view. The Last of Us is also based on video games. At the end of that season, everything they said in the show was executed. They had to bring the girl there. They had to get to this town. All of that happened. Oh, we're going to use her to do all this. All of that happened. And then Joel made a decision to fucking murder everybody everywhere. And then they go out and we even have an extended ending beyond a satisfying ending. Everything had already played out the way we assumed or guessed it was going to play out. And when we got, and the shows we've liked, the season finales or building up to it, Loki, Last of Us, Good Omens has like one of the strongest. Good Omens did not need a season 2, obviously, because that sucks. But it's like some of these endings have been so strong in this new sort of streaming storytelling that this ending just, and I know a lot of fans love this ending, but for me, just storytelling wise, this was you want the last episode? It's DLC. You got to pay for that shit, and it was just like, dude, fuck you. So it's
Amazon Prime.
This was. I look at
you're paying for it to get your free shipping already. So
here's the way I see it. I overlook the blatant. There's going to be another season part of the ending because they gave you the ending for what the season built up to.
James, you want a drink? Here, take a drink.
Yeah, sure.
They gave you the ending for what the season built up to. It resolved all the things that it said that it set out for. Then it did tack on this. Hey, here's some stuff we're going to throw at you for season 2. Come watch this as well. Was it necessary? It wasn't necessary. No, it wasn't necessary. But I mean, to me, it didn't detract from the rest of the season.
Yeah, because it did really resolve the thing.
She went looking for her dad
because it did resolve the thing that all the main characters were looking for. They were all, this MacGuffin was, the fucking infinite energy thing that they didn't know about, that they were trying to either get to one person. Again, very video game. Do you want it to take it to this person or do you want to take it to this faction? Total Fallout stuff. Now, they all did end up at the same place at the fucking same time, though, because the ghoul came through and had the badass fucking shootout with the people, and they were all in the same place, kind of working separately, but they were together at the end, and they did conclude that, but they elevated it, because then all of a sudden you find out Dad fucking killed Mom. This was the thing. Mom was the ghoul was a cool thing at the end, where it was like that her and that girl obviously were a couple, you know what I mean, or whatever at that point. I like that they didn't like beat that over your head either, that it was just, hey, this is the thing, here it is, and then it furthered the storyline, you know what I mean? And you know what? Someone who's a Zelda fan, okay?
Yep.
This is what they fucking do in Zelda games. Oh, you think you're done?
Yeah.
Here's a whole another half of the game that you didn't know about.
So
to me,
it
didn't bother me.
But with the Zelda game, I've already bought the game. It's not like it comes up to a screen.
You're
where it's
already
like,
paying
you're already
for
paying for
Prime.
Amazon.
yeah, I guess we just gotta.
You're already paying for Prime, bro.
Yeah.
Here's your shipment.
Oh, man.
Shut up and watch this show you get.
Exactly.
Right. Order a Vault Boy bobblehead, asshole.
Yeah. For those people who like the ending, it's fine.
I'm gonna need you to send a James Kopp Vault Boy bobblehead. We need a redhead.
Absolutely. Send me.
I mean, again, I'm saying that I understand your gripe with it, but
it's horrible. Like it's such a bad end. It's such a
it's a terrible thing.
He's old the entire time. We guessed that motherfucker as soon as the ghoul, like the first scene had the ghoul in our timeline or 2070, whatever the fuck it is, but still 1950s.
Years after
whatever, you clown shoes. What's the name of this company?
Vault-Tec.
Vault-Tec.
Nah, the video game company.
Bethesda.
Yeah, those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Listen here, smarty pants.
That's something completely separate.
You can just directly address Todd Howard.
Yeah.
He
Todd
takes
Howard,
all
pick a
bitches.
fucking lane and stay in
Hey,
it.
Bro,
he picked the Microsoft lane.
you know what he does? You know what he does?
Stayed in that one.
He wipes
Right.
his tears with his $1,000 bills.
Yeah. He's like, I'll consider
Got
it.
his
He
goddamn
dives into
face
a
on it
Scrooge
now,
McDuck
too,
money.
Yeah.
That reveal was not a reveal to me. And then the ending, it was like, I guess you could say like, it's a little rewarding to see, oh, this is her mother, this is what it is. But we started figuring all that out really early on, that like the vault people are being lied to, that whatever's going on in the vaults is not what we think. What's going on Earth, on the surface is not what we think. And I'm guessing what's going on in other realms is not what we think.
I mean, if you know the Fallout series, you know none of the vaults are anything.
It's all statistics.
Yeah, those
weird
reveals.
shit,
There were some reveals within this show that I think were really exciting for hardcore fans. But yeah, most of the reveals that you come to throughout the series, they're not big surprises to us as players, because every goddamn computer you come across is telling you this shit in the game. So, again.
But storytelling wise, the ending revealed, at least to our main lead, who's the Vault-Tec gal, we should have seen like, oh wow, everything I've learned is a lie and I'm on my own and all this, and we don't really get anything of that.
I disagree.
Instead,
that's exactly what we get at the end. She has come to a conclusion that she's been fucking lied to, and that she's got to change the way that, this whole story was her changing the way that she saw it in a very naive way. You know what I mean?
She saw the way she was taught.
She was taught to
evolve.
Exactly.
By the end, she shirks that, and she's going with that ghoul to fucking get her fucking dad. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he's going, and I thought that was a good reveal at the end too. Where's my fucking wife? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was a cool reveal too, where it's like, oh, he has because until then, he's just kind of this mercenary, just kind of doing whatever for his fucking drug addiction, right? To make him not turn feral. Yeah. And you get this, hey, where's my fucking family, actually? So not only that his wife is probably alive, but maybe his fucking daughter's alive too? I thought that was a cool fucking reveal.
Well, I think...
Which maybe is the best character in the fucking show, honestly.
Ghoul is absolutely the best character in the show.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I honestly, so many of the characters are great. Like, it's like, but the ghoul is really fascinating. His wife is obviously the person that made the call to drop the bomb, and his daughter obviously died because of the wife dropping the bomb, and so which is what let him down the path.
I don't know about that though. I don't know about that, because he says, "Where's my fucking family?" If that daughter would have died and he knew it.
Because she was with him, so he would have known she was dead.
So he had to have got her out.
Yep.
And the fact that
she might be a ghoul too.
Well, I think she's going to be something else entirely. By the time we see her,
think she's going to be a super mutant?
I don't think she's going to be a super.
There's the James bobblehead right there.
There you go, perfect. Look at that dirty ginger.
I needed to say 2 out of 5 on the bottom of it. I gave it a 2.
2 out of 5, baby. Wasn't bad. 2 out of 5.
Lucy as a character is that they're trying to make her be a player character as much as they can, like a naive. This is your first time coming into this world of Fallout type character and everything like that. And I think the dichotomy they show between what she does at the end of episode 8 and what she does in episode, I think it was 4, when the ghoul has her basically, that he's having her go on a leash and everything with him, shows what her change is. It's like she just kind of be drug along, like unwillingly going with this, and now she's willingly going with him, and he knows he doesn't have to do anything to force her to do it, because this is what she wants to do
because
now.
they have now found a level playing field. And then also another interesting thing is the shift with Maximus. What's his fucking name?
Maximus. Yeah.
The shift with Maximus too,
military
where
guy.
he is finally getting everything he's been wanting. Like he got everything he wanted, but you can see on his face that that's not what he wanted.
He realized that's
He
not what he
realized
actually
that that's not really what he wanted, and now he's stuck in that situation. So I think that next season we're going to see him kind of be the antagonist. You know what I mean? In some of this, at least to an extent, and have his moral, you know what I mean, thing. I mean, it made me want to watch season 2 right now.
Yeah.
You know, like really, like I
Almost like it had an unsatisfying ending and you needed more. Yeah.
Minus
Yeah.
that.
Hey, that's
minus
TV,
that
bro. Last
All right.
week I wanted to see next week. Fucking
Hey,
Loki
Loki,
of Thrones
all right.
thrived on this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Loki season 1.
True.
The ending to
Yeah.
Loki season 1. Who didn't want to
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what that was all about?
True. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yep.
wait 2 years for that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I do agree though. I think that there you go. I think that that it was more satisfying, or at least from what I've seen from people like yourself and other people who weren't well versed in the Fallout series,
it
tended to be more dissatisfied with the ending because it wasn't inherent in what the fuck was going on. But to the Fallout fans, huge things going on at the end. And I think that's where they fell a little bit flat for me, but it's definitely not going to be a 20% difference for myself.
Full point mark down.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, for me the ending took it down because it really was. I would probably rewatch episodes of this first season again, not the last episode at all.
You could
But,
watch up to the end where
there
they
would
praise
be-
Maximus.
Right.
Because
sure.
that would be technically the end of the season.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
The Ghoul and Lucy have already left. Maximus is praised at the end, and that would technically be your ending to the first season.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then
Before we get to Poochie.
yeah, before Poochie shows back up and flies off.
Yeah.
There.
Jesus.
I mean, you don't get the New Vegas reveal at that point in time, but that's fine. You don't necessarily need to have that to end the season per se.
Well, and I also like the New Vegas doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
Is it going to be good? Like that's all I like. I get that they're doing an exciting game, but like,
Well,
Yeah,
it's
Prince of Persia
it's the big
exciting
thing.
game.
And it leads to a lot of questions because when this takes place, it takes place after the New Vegas game takes place by, I don't know, 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting because in that game, well, in Fallout 3, you had a little bit of a faction choices, but they were not as broad as in New Vegas and then in Fallout 4. So in New Vegas, you had several different options of how you wanted to join which faction to see what the ending was. Now, obviously, lore-wise, they have to pick one, right? You know what I mean? So it seems like they picked that Mr. House fucking won everything and the Enclave is taking over the, you know, New Vegas, which New Vegas, because of Hoover Dam, they had, you know, power, you know, like, you know, they do some cool stuff within like the universe to kind of figure out how these things still work. And so that's interesting. And it's also interesting too that based on this timeline, she could run into some of the other protagonists from the other games in the next season. We also have some big things that we haven't seen, like other than a skull of a Deathclaw or the arm of a super mutant. Like there's some big Fallout shit to come out.
monsters.
And as well as this did, this is why I'm so happy this did well, is they're going to get the fucking funding to do that shit right next season.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, for any of my bitches about this, I'm really excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah. I like this enough that I'm gonna watch season 2. I'll even go back and watch episodes from season 1.
Well, we're
but
going to force
this
you to
ending
watch
is
season 2 anyways,
yeah.
unless you die between now and then, so.
I'm gonna say, considering like the powerful monsters and everything, it's like that. I'm fine with them not necessarily having them in there, because I think that not to say you don't need it for at some point or anything. I think that The Last of Us showed that you didn't need bloaters all throughout
No.
you ran into him. The
No.
one time they had the bloater that was worked wonderfully
Yep.
well.
But there are some wonderful super mutant
There are.
fucking companions to be thrown in there.
There-
You got a good Night Stalker one. It's probably not going to be till season 3. But, well, maybe we're New Vegas, so we might get Night Stalkers before we get super mutants. But you've got some great, like, for James. So they have, what is it called? The FEV?
Yeah, I think so.
The evolution, or is it? Yes.
Yeah.
Something. Anyways, so they have this thing where they were trying to create. One of the vaults was trying to create, or a few of the vaults were trying to create humans that would be radiation resistant. All right, and in that they kind of turn these people into fucked up Hulks. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Okay, so they're the super mutants, right? So they're these giant, and we see an arm of one of
Yeah,
them.
well, you see that in Vault 4.
Yeah,
So.
and most of them are kind of like the Pharaoh ghouls. They're just, they're slightly intelligent. Think of like ogres in a fantasy realm. They're very similar to like ogres, all right?
Yeah.
And then they even have behemoth versions of them that are really big. But they also have some that have kind of kept their intelligence, kept their empathy, you know what I mean? And they can be companions for you or help you out in certain ways. And they're really compelling, awesome characters in every game that they've showed up in. And I think since Fallout 1, you've had a super mutant of some kind that has been a.
I don't remember Fallout 2 well enough to know for certain.
Dude,
2 or
look
1
what they
definitely
did
had.
with a salamander with finger teeth. It was like that's a lame monster, and it was really well used and cool. So even bringing out some of these fan favorites from the games, if you write it and do it well, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Like
if you did that, well,
here's one of my problems with that. Okay, so that creature was from what, the DLC from Fallout 4, right?
Yes.
In the
is it from a
It is
game?
from-
I don't
yeah,
even know.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
Wholly
from a
It's not
DLC from
wholly
the game.
original, but yeah.
Here's my thing with
Okay.
that is it should have been a Mirelurk. Why wasn't it a Mirelurk? Or even a Mirelurk Queen would have been dope as shit. Was it too much money? Like,
I don't think it was too much money. I think it's just they made a creative choice based upon
Yeah, that
where they were
kinda-
going to use it, and
it was from one of the most popular DLCs from Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But it was from Fallout 4.
It was an
one of the-
interesting looking weird creature, and
Yeah.
it was used well. It was used in a situation where it was kind of like, okay, this is it was like kind of like scary for the characters, but it was interesting enough that you wanted to see more of it.
I think it's because they made the narrative choice this season to not focus so much on the monsters and running into people that you have to fight and kill type situation. They're probably going to get more of that in season 2. So they chose.
Yeah.
It was like,
Well, we got chicken fuckers,
well,
so
no,
we're
yeah, we
pretty
got
good.
Chicken Fucker.
Yep, you do. That's just another thing that, like. So if you don't.
We also get dumb fuck Ghoul next season.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Who's-
Yeah.
His
Gary.
his partner that turns into a ghoul at
Turns
the end
into
of
the ghoul.
in
Yeah,
episode 7.
that's gonna be great.
Because
Okay.
he takes Chicken Fucker's medicine to heal himself.
Yeah, that guy that fixes. Oh my god, that fucking foot haunts me every night. I'm pretty sure I sleep an hour less every night since seeing that. That was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I don't even know how he got his foot back in his boot.
Yeah,
Like,
we're gonna have
that
to check
is
it out.
ridiculous.
I don't know, but yeah.
But again, I love that stuff. I love. Here's another thing for you, James, if you didn't know. When the first Fallout came out, they had all intentions of having all the real world drugs in there. Like everything was going to be heroin, methamphetamines, weed, like everything was in there. Cocaine, but the people who producing was like, hey, this is not going to fucking fly. So they just literally renamed them all into something else. You know what I mean? So now you have your jet, you have your Mentats, you know what I mean, which is basically fucking Adderall, you know what I mean? And you have all these different drugs in there. And I really loved how they utilize all that. Again, just the tiny, minute details. And I've watched some stuff with Todd Howard talking about the making of this show, and he said, they were always there for advice, and they gave them a little bit of, hey, you might not want to do this because this fucks whatever we're working on up, which, of course, you know what I mean, in a franchise like this, you have to have someone doing that. But he said they did very little. Like, these people that made this show were such huge fans, and they knew fucking everything about the lore, that they didn't have to do much. You know what I mean? They just kind of had to say, hey, steer away from this or that, you know what I mean? And that was it, which is awesome. I love when fans, like truly fans, get a chance to make something that they obviously love. And that's the way this whole series felt to me. This series felt like a labor of love to someone, and I think it's very interesting that it was fans writing this, not so much the actual.
Well, yeah, like we said, this feels more like a video game than any other thing we've seen. Like how they decided they take on different side quests, different people are coming up with them, asking them to do things for them. The MacGuffins feel like levels in a video game, and so I got to get the head off this guy is level 2, it's like, so this, I don't know, a lot of this show worked. God, that reveal was lame, and that ending was like laugh out loud bad, in my opinion. But I will rewatch episodes of this, and I'm gonna watch season 2, even though I should be watching season 2 after a bunch of shit already happened and everybody's in a better place.
Fair enough.
I think my biggest complaint for this series was the whole intentional mix-up by the writers between Maximus and Lucy on when the bomb happened. Because they each had their own perspective based upon when they were alive. And
that was a little bit of a strange aside. Like, it was like...
I kind of, as a person who I know some of the series from friends talking about it and watching YouTube videos and shit, right? Never played any Fallout game. The people in the vault, and absolutely they know what happened. And then they go outside and the people are like, oh God, it's vault people. These idiots keep coming out. You morons don't know anything. And then as an audience member, I was like, oh my God, we're with the group that doesn't know anything. And so then we learned that. And then later of like, oh, there are different times when the bomb dropped off. It's like, no one knows anything. Well, no one knows fucking anything. And it was kind of great. But as an audience person, it was kind of great going like, wow, they don't even know when they all died. They don't even know when it all happened because they don't have a good history of things. So I don't know that. I enjoyed that. Like, I was like, wow, this is how fucked up this world is.
Well, except for the fact that that's not how it ended up being, though, and that's why I had the problem with it, because the bombs that created the Vault people did drop 200 years ago.
Okay.
There was a separate bomb that dropped on the city, and that's what Maximus' perspective from, because Maximus was born into that society. So the bomb he knows is the one that dropped on that city, which did happen a lot more recently. And was a completely separate event from what happened, what kicked off the whole thing with Vault people.
See, I didn't have that big of a problem with that, because I understand that the Vault people are going to have more knowledge about the past, but not so much knowledge about the present. Whereas Maximus is going to have more knowledge about the present and have that perspective, and that was kind of the things that they served to each other.
No, I understand. I'm not complaining about their perspectives on the world. And when certain events happen, my issue is that they created that uncertainty for no particular reason in advancing the story. That didn't necessarily help the story at all.
It was strange the way it was presented. I don't deny it.
And that's my only issue with it. So,
okay, so let's rate this, and then let's talk about we've talked a little bit, but let's talk a little bit about our hopes for the second season, and then we'll move on to our second. You want the hopes before the rating? Okay. So then let's do our hopes for the second season. So again, I already talked about Super Mutants. I already talked about being excited about seeing the Enclave and stuff like that. One thing that I really want to fucking see in this series. Can you guess what it is? Can you guess what it is, Matt?
You tell us.
VATs. I want to see fucking VATs. I need you, like, that's the one video game thing in this that we've not seen. Now, you don't know what this is, James, but
I have no idea what's going on, but the bats. All right, I'm here for
what
it.
does VAT stand for? Jesse, could you look up what VAT stands for in Fallout? Or never mind, Matt's got it. So VATs is a thing in the video game where you push a button and either it stops or slows time, and you're able to pick your shot, and it shows a percentage whether you have a percentage chance to aim for their head, or whether you could shoot their weapon out of their arm, or if they're really fast melee characters, you can cripple their legs. You know what I mean? So you can do that stuff. They can do that to you too. But you can do this, or they can cripple your limbs and stuff. But you can do this to them, and it's a very cool mechanic in the game.
Vault-Tec assisted targeting system.
Yes, it's something that works with your Pip-Boy, right?
Yes.
And you have action points, RPG shit that allows you to do it more or less. And that's one thing that I missed out of this too, is I would really love to see that. I don't know how you make that work right, but I want to fucking see it. They got to pull that off in this series, I think, to really fucking...
I think they hinted towards it at one point.
Tell me.
He's either on Lucy's Pip-Boy or somebody else's Pip-Boy that I saw that it showed up an image with the person that showed percentages according to each of the body parts.
No, it showed your Vault Boy with theirs though.
No. That's what I'm saying. I think it showed up. I'm not saying it was. It wasn't used for anything. It just showed up kind of as an Easter egg for everything. But that's what that was. So there was a scene on one of the Pip-Boys. I don't remember whose it was. Where you saw the Pip-Boy person, then you saw different percentages pointing at different part of the bodies.
Limbs, yeah.
That's what that system is.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason they didn't use it in season 1, because I made the comment when we talked about this last time, was they put Lucy on hard mode by giving her the trank gun as a weapon for pretty much the entire season.
Ranger.
Yeah. So it's like she wasn't going to have any decent weapon or anything like that. So now they can do more of that in season 2, and it's probably going to end up being, if they do it at all. I don't know that they're necessarily going to show down the slowing of time. All my wife's messages just showed up randomly on screen, like we're no longer streaming anymore. Are we on still, Jesse? Okay, cool. I don't know if they're going to show it down, but I think they're probably going to show something that it shows up on her armband or on her Pip-Boy, and when she's taking a shot at some of the characters. That's probably how they're going to do it, or at least the best way possible they're going to do it.
Too, that kid is from fucking, what is he from? Hannah Montana?
Yeah.
He's the fucking kid from Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Wait, Hannah Montana's Disney.
Yeah, Hannah Montana's Disney. That's a different type of sleaze.
We didn't even talk about that. I loved that little aside. I love the memes too. The only character in this show that stuck to the main story. He stuck to the main mission. He did no side quests. Stuck to the fucking main mission. Yep.
There was something.
He just was plowing through, bro.
Because they did all his trailers for it recently too. They also made the comment about him, the only person in the history of playing or being in the game who's actually read any of the manuals or information on screen. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. I also really loved that they paired him with that other guy who is just so
the lunk. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're big Game of Thrones fans. And that's a simple answer. It's trust no one in Fallout. That's what it is.
Well, it's as fast.
Trust no one. Yeah, I think they trusted that. They touched on that a little bit.
As fast as season 2 is coming out, I think they did right ahead. So this no, I am sure that is more Amazon than it is the writers for this series.
Whoever you
No,
blame
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. But I'm saying that's more Amazon than anything else. So.
Tell me what you want in season 2.
What do I want in season 2? I want to move away from the audience player character method of Lucy. You can make a new character. That could be the audience player character if you want to, but not Lucy anymore. Lucy's gone past that.
Lucy has to come into her own in this.
She can keep her optimism because I enjoyed that about her character, but the full naivety of her needs to kind of be washed.
Yeah, I would like to see her shift more into that charismatic deception at this point.
Yeah.
You know, where instead of persuasion, she's picking the deception fucking shit throughout the rest of it, where it's like, yes, I can, you know, like, I told you my stats at the beginning, and which is very high in charisma. So I want to see, you know, how it could shift into more self-serving type of a thing.
What did my wife?
I'll tell you.
What?
Oh, it says. Oh,
All right, so
I don't know if we have James' audio.
Yeah, so apparently James is not broadcasting.
His audio.
We hear you. We hear you just fine. Just pantomime more.
There you go. Yeah, dude, flip off the camera, and that's pretty much
here's my
sums it all up.
score. What? Couple of these for you fuckers. Yeah.
All right. Well, hold on just
I don't know
second.
that our
Let's do
audience
a-
completely hates the fact that they can't hear you right now.
Yeah, they probably don't care that they don't hear you bitching. To recap, James Hader, we love it. There you go. I don't know what's going on right here. Let's see what
My
we
wife
got
wants to
going
do a bad lip reading on whatever you're saying.
There you go. Yeah, Miranda, why don't you just type out what you think he's saying, and we'll do this. We're gonna bring you back in real fast.
We're gonna kick
just
James
hold on
out
one
and then
second.
bring him back. James,
Oh no!
James is a liquor bottle now.
Glug, 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 glug. Oh wait, I gotta do it this way. Glug, 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 glug.
Rub me, yeah.
Like that?
Oh, somebody rub the bottle. Who made a wish?
I
There you
don't
go.
know.
I wish.
My acting coach is Will Smith, and I'm gonna smack
Hey,
you in
there
the
you go.
fucking face.
I think you're back now.
Miranda, do you hear him?
Yeah, I think I see him I see him jumping up and down there. Sorry about that.
No. We. Let's see what. Hold on.
All right.
He says
Yeah.
boozy, boozy, booze, booze.
Boozy, boozy, boozy,
So,
boozy.
so I don't know.
That's right, that's
I don't know if she actually hears you. based on that statement.
But I'll tell you what, that is pretty spot on.
That's pretty spot on, yeah.
Somebody rubbed the wrong bottle. God damn it! Just say if you hear him or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. Here, take a drink, James. Take a drink. This way.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now it's behind. Now it's
Oh,
behind.
now it's
James.
behind him. Okay. Let's rate this bitch. He's giant on the tall one over there.
James
to the
rates
right.
it 2 out of 5. No.
Matt.
Well, I'll go first because
sure,
mine's
go ahead.
honest. This is a 4 out of 5 for me.
that
It
hard,
was gonna be a 5 out of 5, and the ending was that bad. Like some of it's padded, and we allow that. Very rarely are we gonna get something like Good Omens or Loki season 1 that has no fat. We're always gonna get shows that have a little fat on it, so I was accepting of that. But ending was too much for me, where I was just like, fuck this. So 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5, though. That's really fucking
that's
good,
a very
actually.
high praise, James.
It's really good. It's a really good show. It's just, I think
There we go.
I'm
What
more
is it?
hesitant with my praise for it because
it's
so many people keep saying like, oh, video game properties are okay now.
The rating system is the half is the ghoul and the full is Walter Goggins in Sons of Anarchy.
Lovely.
Nice. All right.
Lovely. Great job. Great job, Jesse.
Yeah,
Fucking
why not?
Fantastic.
I'm giving the series 4.5 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5. Was it Last of Us? No, but nothing can be Last of Us right now as far as I'm concerned. But Last of Us did have the 4.5 out of 5. Last of Us did have the advantage of it literally was written like a movie that had video game mechanics put around into it. I'm talking about the game itself. The game itself was written like a movie that had video game mechanics put into it after the fact. Fallout, as follows the game, is a pure RPG, Western RPG style game, in which the writers for this series took the important parts of the lore of the series and put the best thing on screen that they could.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it has the slow moments, but as we've talked about before, that is the most video game thing where we're taking these intentionally cheesy video game tropes and putting them onto screen, and they're actually kind of funny for the entire thing, especially the NPCs.
What was even like the
true NPCs?
We were talking about the drug stuff. The drug stuff in the game feels like getting a health pack.
Yeah.
Like every time they get it, they try to do some pseudoscience with it, but it's like, I gotta inject me with this needle and then I won't have super cancer anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's like, fuck it, it's a video game, that's right? So it kind of worked. Yeah.
I'm gonna also give it a 4.5. I don't even think it was slow. Like to me, there was no slow parts of this. I have a little bit of an issue with the game is on at the end. I have a little bit of an issue with them not, again, 4.5. Like if I, just the not using the Mirelurks, which is a more staple of, at least the last 3 fucking Fallout games. Just little things like that, but those are barely bitches for me. I really like this series. I'm really excited about the next one, the next season. Solid for me. You know what I mean? Like again, another win for 2024.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like
another win.
Yeah. I would still tell people to watch this. Like it's just like it's good enough to watch.
James Kopp. So that's two video game series. We need to get a video game movie that he loves. But that's 2 video game series that you have given some pretty fucking high praise.
I recommend it.
All right.
And I still don't recommend Super Mario Brothers. There ain't a fucking voice in the world that can change that.
That's fine. We're not trying to convince you of that. It's made for a younger audience.
We need to get that clip of you freaking out about Last of Us being one, and then show your scores for that and now this.
Yeah.
That's your new 5 million views fucking TikTok, Mr. TikTok famous over here.
Well, dude, we did what is it? You sent over a video of us, and I was like, Jesus, I'm dressed in like goof ass costume every other episode. But we didn't have The Last of Us, me and a beard. Didn't I do a beard at one point?
We just haven't gotten there yet. Like we have a lot of videos, bro. We have a lot. All
right. Fair enough.
You guys have like 4 years worth of stuff, I think, or something like that.
All of us together still have at least a couple, and most of those are 3 hours long. So let me tell you how long it took to fucking upload those all to fucking Adobe.
Oh, I'm sure.
It took like a day for them to all get in there.
And that's today's speech. Just think it was before.
Exactly.
or in the references that they made in the episode of what we're going to talk about next, Xmen '97.
There you go.
Ah.
Let's shift over to our next topic.
The only unfortunate thing right now while Jesse gets this set up was the fact that you started talking about the writers for Fallout and how much of a fans they were of the Fallout series and how they just kind of let them go at it, which would have been the perfect segue into talking about the writers for fucking Xmen '97, which is the best thing on
obviously
TV now.
We're like us, and we're too old to be coming home from high school and watching this fucking show every day. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I was 1 year out of high school in '97, just saying. So, and I still really.
Xmen '97 is such a pleasant surprise. I've been pissed at Marvel. I've been pissed at Disney Plus. Xmen '97 was such a begging for sex, fucking vintage member berries bullshit. Like when I saw the first trailer, I was like, man, you can go fuck yourself with that. Like Xmen the '92 show when it showed up was unique. It was trying to do some of the stuff going on. You trying to recapture that just to fucking a link between worlds, fucking sell me this shit, try to lock me into a fucking corner. I was just like, I was really like, fuck you on this show. And with the exception of like me not liking one episode for personal reasons, not like it was a bad episode. Like I have a view of what things should be, and I didn't like how they
you old man coped it. Yes, we know.
Old man, yeah, I shook my cane at it. Nothing happened, and I was pissed. And so I called the cops, told them about Xmen *97, and then I had to spend the night in jail because I was wrong. Thanks, Obama. No, Xmen '97.
It's Let's Go Brandon now, bro. Come on.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I gotta learn the right whistles. Now, Xmen '97, I can safely say, is my favorite streaming show right now. Like, I don't like plan to go watch it. I'm never like, oh, I can't wait for Wednesday. I just always turn it on Wednesday at some point, and every time I turn it on, I could be like training a dog or like learning how to make lobsters or whatever I'm doing. I will murder everything and just watch Xmen '97. Like I could literally like be in a movie cliffhanger, like holding on. I could be doing the Green Goblin, holding on to the children of Mary Jane. I'd let them both fucking drop to their death so I could watch Xmen '97. Like that's literally what it's becoming. No matter what I'm doing, I could be mid jerk off, and I'm going to stop and watch Xmen '97 because it's like, my favorite show.
And then you jerk off even harder.
Yeah.
It's like I don't need it. I don't need it at that point, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even need it. I just watched Xmen '97, so that's how good I am.
So where did we last? We talked a little bit about it last week. Did we?
No, we didn't. No. If we talked about it last week, we talked about it in between the terrible Rebel Moon movie that we were watching. The week before we were off because you were still out dead and James was off. Yes. James was off doing his own thing. So the last episode we officially lobsters. Yeah, he was making lobsters.
Lobsters, cooking lobsters.
The last
in my living room watching TV, cooking lobsters.
The last episode
it's a big hot plate. It's a great big hot plate. You got to see it. It's nice, biggest they sell in this country.
The last episode we officially talked about, and you weren't involved, Jared, because this was when you were started dying.
Okay.
Was the best was that time the best episode of Xmen '97, the Genosha.
It's still up there for me.
No,
but this last episode,
especially the ending for this last episode,
has really this one is right there because the implications of everything in this episode, in this latest episode. What do we have? So we have one episode in between.
No, two.
Right?
We had two. So
what did we have?
We had this part 2 of Life Death.
Okay.
I.e., how Storm got her groove back.
How Storm got her groove back is what we are calling that.
It is.
In the Xmen '97 circles in my living room. It's how.
That's how everybody's referring to it. The official title is Life Death Part 2, but the true name of it is how Storm got her groove back. And then we also had the episode last week where we found out
K. Diggs. Is that what's happening?
Yes, Forge's
Forge-
Forge's
Yeah,
Day
she-
A little old potato eggs.
she
Yeah.
Forge played by Tay
Played by
Diggs,
Tay Diggs.
fucked Storm, and then she became Storm from the late '80s. Like her eyes went white, her costume changed, and she fucking
Grew her hair
can
back for some reason.
change the weather of the entire planet.
People right now don't give a shit that Angela Bassett played the Queen of Wakanda. They want her back to be Storm. So it's just like, whatever. We don't care anymore. But yeah, so with that, and then the last episode was we found out about Sentinel Prime program.
That's right. Bastion. It was the big reveal.
Rogue goes on her killing spree tour.
Yeah.
Rogue killed a guy.
Rogue killed a guy.
And
Rogue killed a guy. Like that escalated quickly.
And yeeted Captain America's shield across the fucking plane, across the mountains. Yeah, which was cool.
That was I only have 2 beefs with X-Men 97. We'll get into things we don't like, but it was one of my things was I was expecting Cap to be like, you think you're the first to fight fascists? Dude, I was fighting fascists when you were gleaming your dad and his sister's eyes, you hillbilly piece of shit.
Right.
Like, I was waiting for, like, the old school boomer to give, like, the millennial, like, fucking treatment.
And then he ends it with, I wish a woman would learn her place.
Yeah, exactly. So, you think I won't slap a mutant? I'll slap a mutant. I'm from a time where it was okay. Shake a mutant around.
I'll slap another gray streak through your fucking head there, lady. You better watch out. But I did love that she fucking yeeted it. She just, it was very petty.
Because she won't be eating this anymore.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things that Chris Claremont always said was writing for characters who have such different levels of powers. Like, it's not like everybody's equal. It's not like Star Trek where everybody has, like, one ability that they're bringing to the table that makes them awesome.
So
he's like, with the X-Men, some of them are gods and some of them are really clever humans, and that's very true when we're dealing with these characters. They've done such a good job.
Such a good job. Yeah. You owe me some Coke.
Jubilee saying, like, I wish I could fly as she ran across the rooftop with, like, that's like Art Adams level humor from like 80s.
Well, and the way
90s.
that they do it, like
there's so much good stuff in this show.
Cyclops. Okay, so in this latest episode, okay, that scene with Cyclops, Cable, and fucking Jean Grey is amazing. And I got tingles when he was like, "It's so stupid. It should not make me so excited." But him saying, let's teach him how not to fuck with the Summers. You know what I mean?
And I would have been perfectly fine if they had dropped the F-bomb in this episode.
Yeah.
So much. Yeah. It was in my head.
Yeah, no, everyone's on all of our heads. We'll teach you not to screw with the Summers. Like, that's not what you said.
Yeah. Not just, but,
Yeah.
But the use of screw for X-Men 97
the TV edit of that line.
Yeah.
But they do so well because then they bring in, and then they know how to fucking bring us to a climax. Because that climax in this last episode, with Magneto just EMPing the whole world.
Yep.
Okay, and they showed very little about what that actually affected, but come on. Planes fell out of the sky. Life support machines went offline.
Dude, Magneto should have done that shit a long time ago, and he knows that. He knows, like
the way that they didn't show it, but let Wolverine say it was so fucking smart. Again, going to the writers where we started off with this. Not only are they huge lovers of this series in particular, but they are fucking excellent writers. Okay, they know how to make the cheesy mean something, like the Summers line, and they know how to fucking, when to show it and when to tell it. When those two things are more important, because it's not always show, not tell. Right. There is sometimes, like with that Wolverine line, where him telling us that is so much more impactful than them showing life supports going offline and planes flying, all these things, you know what I mean?
Because it's not beating you over the head with the information. That's the problem with show don't tell is the telling is beating you over the head with more information when you want to see it.
Right.
This is a single line that tells you everything you need to know about what's going on.
Magneto just declared war. You know what I mean?
And then you got the writers on
every episode has a lot of melodrama, soap opera, telemundo, fucking storytelling, and then it has a badass action sequence. Like, I'm not joking. Go back and watch every episode. There is at some point, even when Storm got her group back, nothing happened. Fucking 15 minutes and two out of cabin.
I wouldn't even say one. They always have two in a 30-minute episode. Right?
Yeah.
Or 30-minute episodes.
Yeah, we're 30-minute episodes for all of them. So
they always have two, not just one.
Yeah.
They have two. Okay.
Because it's normally one that's like badass, like at least one that like blows you away.
They have a good one, and then they have a holy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes that holy shit's the beginning, because I'll go back to that first episode. Like, whoever's writing this show loves the fuck out of Cyclops and wants to fucking redeem him, and they have done that. And this latest episode with fucking Nightcrawler, goddamn, you threw a goddamn sword in his tail.
The last two episodes with Nightcrawler, he has
sword on his tail.
He's got the cheesiest cheesy lines, and they are fucking perfect. They are fucking Nightcrawler. It is right out of the goddamn comic. Matt Horowitz, a guy I used to work with at fucking Blockbuster, who is the biggest hater raid you've ever seen. He makes me look like, a vanilla YouTuber talking about, well, I just like moving pictures, so every movie's great. Horowitz was mad that Yondu wasn't a space Native American. Like, he's that geek. He's that motherfucking geek, where he's like, nah, they should have kept it real with the story. And I'm like, nobody thought that but you, motherfucker.
A fundamentalist comic nerd. That's what we call him.
Yeah, exactly. And even he was like, the X-Men 97's too melodrama for me, which is already kind of horseshit. And I was busting his balls about that. It's like, the comics were this over the top with shit. Yeah. There was
X-Men was the soap opera comic.
What made me laugh was that Magneto wasn't dead, and I fell for it a fourth fucking time. It happened in the comics 3 times, and I fell for it every fucking time. And then I'm watching the cartoon, I was like, holy shit, they killed Gambit and Magneto. Holy shit, I really believe that, because I am a gullible motherfucker. And then they show he's fucking alive, and it's just like I laugh because of course he's alive. It's a comic, and Magneto will always be alive, and so will Professor X. They don't die.
Another really smart thing that they did, okay, is they tied something into the MCU, which is, and in What If, that the Genosha thing and the Gambit dying cannot be changed.
No.
And they simply did it with, hey, every time I fucking come here and try to stop this, I get sent back. Done. There's the explanation. Now I have this fixed point in time that cannot be changed. All right? And the implications of that are all over the place for the super nerd people, but it's simple still for anybody who's watching to understand. Oh, okay. Well, you can't fucking change that. Gambit.
This is their Pearl Harbor. Yeah, this is their Pearl Harbor. This is their 9/11. And it's not something that can be changed. It's a poignant moment in what happened to their existence, and they're going to have to deal with that as they go.
But they do 2 things. They killed Gambit, made that unchangeable. They teased that Magneto was killed, but he wasn't. Okay, so they did both fucking things in that storyline, which pulling that off is amazing. And having that. And again, just the symbolism of finally showing his fucking tattooed numbers on his arm when he breaks the fuck out and going up and just, again, declaring war. The implications of that, we'll get into what we think is going to happen over the next 2 episodes. But, again, just such amazing storytelling.
For right now, let's talk about the stuff that we either nitpicky or that we didn't like, so that we can go on gushing, because we're all going to gush about this wonderful show. But there is stuff. First off, hillbillies in vats of Sentinel juice. Can I see the scene before you got the hillbillies in the vats of Sentinel juice? Because you got a bunch of hillbillies in vats of Sentinel juice, and you got them to jump into it. What the fuck? What the fuck are we doing here?
Bastion basically made the point, and they basically wrote it to 97 standards of we got dial-up internet, we got chat rooms, everything like that.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing, but it's more prevalent today than it was in that time of the internet.
Again,
Totally.
These people in public are this one persona and say, "Oh yeah, I'm for them" and everything like that. But in chat rooms are these complete opposite vile people who hate them and
Listen.
are actively doing it. So all Bastion is doing is going in, convincing them, "Hey, I got a way to help you take care of this
Hey,
problem."
these writers are some woke ass motherfuckers, big Biden fans, big Trump hating motherfuckers, and it's true. It's true. They are making a point with some of these fucking things. It's not a
X-Men has
necessarily
always
wrong
been
point,
this way. X-Men
but
has
they're making
always
that.
been this
Yeah.
way.
It always
So,
has. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always, it was woke before any of you knew what the fuck woke was.
Exactly.
Like, it's like,
if you got a
I
problem with
remember.
it, go get your Punisher thin blue line fucking sticker, put it on your
It
car.
was
and
woke
relax.
before the
go
Republicans
fucking-
made up words to explain their feelings.
Like,
without
you can
explaining
go
their
read the
feelings.
Chris Claremont stuff, or you can go read the Alex Ross fucking Marvels. I think it's the second issue of Marvels that goes into like
Mhm.
the mutant mythology and everything. It's there's the X-Men were woke before woke was woke. Like, they were just
The
always
whole
this
point
way.
was that.
Well, fucking
I mean, they were
Yeah.
Xavier and Magneto were literally taken off of fucking Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Fucking X2. Go all the way back to X2. It
Yeah.
was a gay allegory movie that it didn't straight up
Yep.
say it was gay about people who are gay. And
Well, and this season of this series has hammered that.
oh yeah,
on
no,
the head.
absolutely. But I mean, I'm just saying.
But even the first episode, or was it the first episode? Maybe the first 3 episodes of the original series is about Rogue making the choice, as well as the first movie about Rogue making the choice. You know, going to this what is, you know, for all intents and purposes, a what do they call it?
Juilliard?
No,
No,
that's where
That was
they
3.
reinforce.
That
I'm
was
talking
3.
about
That was,
that's the X Mansion. I'm talking about where she goes to like the
rehabilitation. That was 3.
Yeah.
That was 3.
Was it 3 or
That
2?
was Last Stand. Because she loses. She,
Yeah, that
she
was-
goes
that
and has
was-
her powers
it
taken
was-
away.
True. That's true.
It
That
was
was Last
3,
Stand.
but 3 was based on Whedon's Cure comics that he wrote in the Astonishing X-Men, and those are really good comics.
Well, they also
really-
did that in the first of this series, though, because Rogue also went through that very
in
quickly,
the series,
at least in the first season of the series.
Yeah. In the first X-Men movie, it was Rogue being offered the decision to choose between X-Men
to go there,
between X-Men and learning to control their powers over that, and joining up with Magneto.
And the first couple episodes of this season are all about that too.
Yeah.
It's Storm saying, you know, like losing it, and then thinking, okay, it's going to be easier to live this life now like this. And Jean Grey thinking, hey, how am I going to make my kid not to have to go through the fucking same shit that I went through?
Fucking Scott falling in love with her clone. That's such a Scott shit thing to do. You bitch. Like, God, I love Scott Summers, but I also want to beat the shit out of him every time.
Also, isn't him talking to her like through the mind and shit like that? It felt like Gene caught him on Messenger talking to some bitch. Did it not?
Yes.
All right. It was 100% like, are you talking to this bitch on Instagram right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tracking his WhatsApp back.
Yeah, exactly.
But baby, I'm fucking another you. Like, knock it off.
I'm
like
fucking you, babe. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, Scott would pick it doesn't work out with your fucking real wife, so pick a clone of her.
Well, look,
Way to go,
he's
Brainiac.
just keeping communication
her,
with his
but
baby
not her.
mama, okay? Like, he's
Yeah,
gotta do
sure,
that,
sure,
you know
sure.
what I
That's
mean?
what he's doing. He's only been
Okay.
doing it. He's
Okay,
only
he
been doing
doesn't
it a
want
couple
cable to
times.
You
grow
gotta
up
keep
and be
her
weird.
happy so fucking, you can
Yeah.
see your kids, you know what I mean? That's how it works, Anything else we want to bitch about? Because we sucked the dick enough. Let's talk.
The Shi'ar being in that episode, because yes, I understand you got to reintroduce Charles, and that's where he was and everything else like that. But like we're getting to this whole Shi'ar subplot that probably is not going to go anywhere this season. So it seemed almost too excessive.
That PR stuff was just teases for later
No,
on.
I know, but I mean, I'm just saying that you got to bring Charles back in somehow. I understand all that, It's just a lot of what they're doing with the Shi'ar is like, we got to do something.
But it felt like I swear to God, when he's out in space and shit, it's like issues I think 228 of the Uncanny X-Men. It's been a minute. It's after 200, but it's before 250, and I think so. It's been a minute, but it's how those issues were. Like, so it's like I didn't even mind that shit. Where it's like, they would cut to he's out in space doing diplomat shit, and it's like, really? Because the X-Men, half of them died in the last issue, and do you want to come back at any point and stop Magneto from trying
but they
to
did a
run the
really
school?
good job of just making one episode about that. Now he's back.
Yep.
They set a thing to where it's like, okay, well, when this wraps up, he's going to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And because he left, probably that other bitch took over. You know what I mean? And now they're going to have to go fight some space fucking war, which is going to be cool. And again, like the fact that this is a very subtle thing that's happened through this series. If you've not been paying attention, like the Watcher has shown up. Again, we got Captain America.
Yeah, fucking awesome.
Like,
every time.
Every episode has some small tie-in. Well, we got Doctor Doom. The very first.
We got Doctor Doom. We got Zemo. We got fucking Spider-Man.
But we didn't get Doctor Doom.
Maybe
no.
Okay.
No. In the credits, he's not listed as Doctor Doom.
Was he listed?
He's listed as Latvian ambassador or something.
Okay.
Oh, good
No,
Lord.
I know. It's hilarious.
That's
but
super gay fucking MCU shit. Just the fucking, you know what I mean?
no, I know.
That's edging fucking shit. That's
Before we
MCE.
get-
Let's
before
start
we
the
get
MCE,
into,
the Marvel Cinematic edging. That's fucking what they got on that. Yeah.
It's its own category on Disney.
Maybe
God.
we're there, but maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know.
You see the edging collection. So I want to get into something that's actually very important that we need to talk about with this show, which is how mutant powers work with their sexuality. Because this is something that I've been kind of focused on, not since I was like 8 or 10, but close enough.
Totally not.
I don't write fan fiction, but I think it a lot.
I have it in my head. I have a
Time
library.
out. Stop. Before you continue, how much of this shit did you put into supervillain?
Like here and there.
Okay. Now continue.
You're telling me Gambit, with his power to charge things up in an explosion, a woman would not find that satisfying? Like, what the fuck was he doing in the bedroom? His whole power is I can charge things and make it explode, and I can't do that at a fucking clitoris level? Like, I don't believe
probably
that.
Can, but Rogue was the unattainable one.
Yeah.
Look it. That accent. Do you think that
she's fucking Grandpa Magnets and obviously having a good time?
Hold on just a second, though.
She is
Hold on just a second.
going to the danger room very willingly.
Hold on a second, okay? Do you think that fucking accent, regardless of if he could explode the fucking clit, he was getting in every fucking pussy he wanted to, except Rogue's. That's why he liked Rogue.
No. I took it. I completely. I'm sorry. They fucked, and he had feelings. She did not. She bounced. He was hurt. Like that. The subtext in that episode with spoilers here, folks. Where he dies. It is. We love this show too much.
And we already mentioned him dead like 5 times.
If they understand X-Men '97, they've watched these episodes.
Yeah.
If they understand what that means, they're watching.
But it's he obviously had feelings for her. She did not have feelings for him. She obviously got more out of whatever the relationship was with Magneto. And so and when she believes they both died, like how she deals with it. And she
thought she did. It was the thing. She thought that was the way of it until Magneto asked her to be his.
Yeah.
And that's when she realized
I
don't think
she was going to the danger room all that time with fucking Magneto. There was obviously something that happened.
I don't know
within their sexual relationship.
Hold on.
That.
Yes, that was a joke, but I don't think that actually happened because remember that episode was projection to everybody's fears.
Yeah.
So while Morphin Wolverine did see that was happening as well, but I believe that was more projection against Gambit.
I got. He was fucking having an acid trip. I got that. I'm sorry. In the world I live in, Magneto and Rogue fucked probably with a fucking 40-year age difference.
I'm not denying that happened.
Gambit and Rogue fucked. And Gambit was like, I am making this bitch gumbo in the morning because that was amazing. And she was thinking, I got to crawl out the window because I didn't.
I disagree. I think that the Gambit and Rogue thing is that's the love. Okay? They love each other, but they can never be physical together. Okay? So that's their crutch. Okay? Magneto and her could be physical. That was the first person she could be physical with, and in the comics that works out too. The way that the way that works out. The one thing that I have an issue with that is I kind of thought that they were doing a ruse throughout that Magneto was teaching her to control her powers. Really, like Gambit was our perspective into that, where it seemed like it was. Because they were old fling, it was a new rekindling, and he was getting outed, okay? And so we were getting his perspective of that, and we were supposed to be like, no, Magneto is teaching her how to be able to have that physical connection with the person she loves now, even though they were kind of feeding us this kind of lie to it. But when it became a choice between them at the end, I thought, and maybe that was just me reading into what it was, but it was a little disappointing. But I still found it interesting because it was hey, I might not love this person as much as I love you, but I can have this physical connection, which is something I've never had. But on top of that, we're saving mutant kind by doing this. Like, I'm putting a whole extra fucking level of, well, I'm going to be this queen and be able to rule this new United Nations fucking Genosha, you know what I mean, of mutant kind, and it's going to be better for all of us, so I need to, put aside my love for you to...
He played the Holocaust card. Go ahead, you can say it. He played it to get laid. He played the Holocaust card, and then everybody, and then
Okay, so we're all three gonna have different perspectives on this, apparently. So,
all right.
I do believe that Magneto and Rogue fucked. I think they did at least.
They all did.
No,
I believe that they did, but I believe that they didn't in this series. It happened before.
Sex
no,
that's me.
I think they did at least once.
During
this series.
See, that's
at least once. Because you're saying that she put aside everything to become queen. No, she didn't. Because when she showed up to the dance, they had their dance, and then the first thing she does once they're done with their dance is tells him that I can't do this. And she basically at that point chooses Gambit over him. She outright said she says she's not going to be the queen.
That's true.
So that is established. And we don't get to follow up on that because that's when the attack happens. But she makes the decision
to be with
Gambit, basically.
So you think he was in the danger room with her, like, oh no, there's Sentinels coming. Now you got to fight them. What are you going to do, Rogue? Oh no, here comes my cock. What are you going to do, Rogue? What are you going to do?
I said they fucked during this series.
Yeah. In the danger room.
Sure, in the danger room. Whatever.
I don't think they did.
But during that episode where you saw that they had it reserved, no, I don't think they had it reserved that much. I think that was projection from Madeline, which preyed on Gambit's fears.
And real quick, we're just going to go around the room because now we're on this topic of...
I can't stop thinking about Magneto's dick with that weird fucking thing when he does his magnetic power off of it.
Absolutely. It's got an aura. It's got a circle around. It's got
to have the boo, 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 boo.
Yeah. It's a quarter eater in the last level. To get it to climax, you got to just keep feeding it quarter.
Can he use magnetic vibration on his cock?
That's
a question that I have.
Probably.
That's something Kevin Smith should write about in his next movie.
I'm sure he has.
Of the X-Men powers, who do you think would be the most rewarding in the bedroom? Is it Jubilee?
Nope.
Is it Gambit?
Charles Xavier.
Is it Jean?
Charles Xavier doesn't even have to touch you.
Jean Grey same.
Jean Grey is similar,
Jean Grey same.
but Jean Grey, you run the risk of you actually getting exploded.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
because Jean Grey has to tap into some evil shit to do
Yeah.
that. But that's why I say Xavier.
She doesn't have to tap into evil shit. It could be fairies and butterflies.
She would also faint as soon as it's done.
That's true. That's true. And it'll be your fault.
In order
somehow.
to be more powerful than Charles Xavier, she needs to tap into the Phoenix, which is volatile.
The Jubilee one.
That could be a sadist. Like
other than the fact that Jubilee.
Come on, she sparks and
No,
stuff.
no.
That could be exciting.
No. That's what I'm saying, though. The Jubilee one, here's the problem with that. You know if you didn't do a good job.
That's true. Her and Dazzler.
So, yeah. Oh. That's the problem with that one.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to know necessarily.
Yeah.
I did like.
Can you shoot off something just to lie to me a little bit?
I did like in this episode the sunspot, coming into his powers a little bit. And I also really liked the mom being the douchey, like kind of, hey.
It's right out of the comics.
I'm helping.
Man,
We're
like,
helping mutants. Go to your internment camp. We're helping you.
Yeah. It's like the society's hatred for these people, and it was always hard to explain to people. I really do like people. If you're not a comic book, I do recommend Alex Ross's Marvels, which is just a 5 or 6 issue run. The second issue is so great in how it expresses the audience point of view character, the person who was the photographer at the Daily Bugle before. You see his disgust for the mutants. Like, fuck these people. They're criminals. They're bad. And it's like you instantly see he's ready to suck fucking the Thing's cock because he loves Fantastic Four so much and Captain America so much. But as soon as the mutants come in, it's like his wife hides one because it was going to be killed. It's a runaway that was going to be killed by a bunch of humans.
And they do.
And I love that this show is exploring a concept that has always been something that X-Men in the movies never really touched. If they are the next evolutionary step, that in reality, that is terrifying. We are Neanderthals, and how much of Neanderthal culture do we keep? How many Neanderthals do we keep around? And so there is a real legitimate fear for humans to say, we need to kill these motherfuckers or we're the Neanderthals.
So this episode, the last 3 episodes, the way this particular episode played out, the choice for title is the most brilliant choice for a title ever. That being Tolerance is Extinction, because it shows both ends by the end of this episode. Humans' tolerance for mutants. Per Bastion ends in human extinction, normie extinction, basically. And Magneto's shot at the end that our tolerance and Charles' tolerance of humans and trying to work with them is going to be our extinction.
Which, again, the show's so well written. They've said these lines to us 2 or 3 times in the show. Like, Scott Summers says, we're not like humans, because if we were like you, we would have fucking killed you all a long fucking time ago. Except I cleaned it up a little bit there. He said it real dirty. But it's I can't. Oh man, I can't recommend this show enough.
And
it's so
you
smart.
Really can't ever answer that question with the show either. And it's very interesting that they can keep doing this over and over and never really ever. A parallel to what we talked about with the last show, like this will definitely end on a fucking cliffhanger to everything that's going on. All right? So it'll be very interesting to talk to James Kopp in 2 more episodes and see how you feel about how this ends. Because it has to end that way. They can never answer the question whether violence or tolerance is fucking the answer. Really.
Well, and with those bigger themes, it's hard to just put a pin answer on it. Yeah. This show,
we never
this
answered
season,
that in real life. So
exactly. So it's really
show.
hard to. It's kind of hard to answer in the show. this first season was the story they're telling is what would the X-Men be if Magneto was Professor X? That's what if they're gonna say. I don't care if they say it or not. That's what the season was.
It is.
If there's no Professor X and we just have Magneto as Professor X, what would the world in the X-Men look like?
Mhm.
And this is the show we got from that. The end of a rewarding ending for this is Xavier comes back, which he already has. And it's like things are going. We know just from who these characters are, everything's going to change now because Xavier's back.
And it's going to be Xavier trying to convince Magneto to give them another chance, basically, right?
Let's talk about it after we rate it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after.
So we'll hold off on a couple thoughts on how we think it's going to go. But yes, this season has totally been, all right, you know how Magneto is. Now we're going to put Magneto in position. And what's her name from the UN? I can't remember her name now.
Valerie,
yeah. Her last line episode, Magneto was right. It said, nope, that is. And Magneto, the best thing about what they did with Magneto this season is they legitimately had him try to do it Charles's way.
He did. He says it in
the
episode
comic,
2 or 3.
In the comic, he did as well.
No, yeah, but I'm saying that was the key to this working.
Yeah. When he takes her and the rest of them and the dude that shot Storm up into the air, he says, "What? I don't need to paraphrase, but he's like, don't make me fucking basically do what I did do at the end of this episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't make me fucking have to fuck you guys up." In the end,
he didn't know that like half that group was like, "Hey, I would totally get into a vat of chemicals, set up by a Sentinel,
I already got into a vat of chemicals.
I already got into a vat of chemicals to be a Sentinel man."
Yeah.
Okay,
let's rate this and let's talk about the next 2 episodes because we have the penultimate and the finale coming up. We will talk about it in a couple weeks. We have what do we have coming up next week?
Next week we have the Star Wars series Tales from the Empire.
Yeah. Tales from the Empire. We'll probably be talking about an Acolyte trailer by then. They will be coming out with the re-release of the Phantom Menace. But until then, we are going to be.
Are they doing a re-release of the Phantom Menace
tomorrow? Comes back in theaters tomorrow.
Why?
Because it's their 25th anniversary.
Because Filoni has fixed the prequels.
Okay.
That's why, bro.
It's the 25th anniversary. Actually, some theaters are actually doing the full 9.
Oh.
Yeah. So if I'm not here, and
that's a rough day. That's a rough day. If you do all 9.
I've done 7.
Should we do all 9?
I've done 7.
Let's do 9. Let's
try to break a record. That's so mean.
Let's summarize the 9.
Should we throw Rogue One and what if we try to break a record for how long we watch Star Wars content in
by next Thursday?
No, not by next Thursday. I'm just thinking, I'm just throwing it out there. What if by next year's Star Wars celebration, that us old fucks try to break a Guinness record by watching consecutive Star Wars? We will start from timeline appropriate.
Watch wait till Acolyte comes out.
And go through all. Yeah, well, by then, a lot of things will come out.
June 3rd.
That new Filoni movie might be out. All these things might happen.
By the time we're done? Yeah, by the time we're done, that might all happen. But I'm saying, if we're doing timeline, we have to wait till Acolyte comes out, and then we start officially.
All we have to do is have at least one of us on stream at any time.
It doesn't matter if we're awake or asleep, just have it on.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter if we're awake or asleep.
We'll make sure James watches the Rebels episodes that he has.
We're going to work on this.
Yeah,
hey, if anybody knows about Guinness World Record stuff, talk to us. Let's figure out if we could break some nerd bullshit. Let's rate this thing. X-Men 97 up to this point. We're just doing up to this point. Okay? Up to episode 8.
Up to episode whatever, it doesn't matter. It's still a 5. I mean, it's
a 5 for me.
This is the best.
It's a 5 for me too. It's like
5 across
episode
all of us.
Episode Jubilee. The episode of Jubilee. I don't hate it as much as James does, but still it's not a terrible episode. It's still better than
It isn't. It isn't a terrible.
It's still
episode,
better than
yeah.
a lot of the episodes that were in
It's
the
still
original.
obvious
X-Men.
that the people who wrote that episode loved the fucking show
Yep.
from fucking 30 years ago. You know what I mean? Like that's, you know, it's respectable whether it's your favorite part.
Yeah.
The Mojo stuff was never my favorite part. The long shot stuff was never my.
Mojo-
Jubilee's never my favorite character.
Mojo as a
so I'm
character
not
is
going to
just
give as much a shit
difficult.
about that regardless.
Mojo's character is just a difficult character to have. In
Yeah.
general.
Mojo might be my favorite part of that episode or
Which is
those
fine.
storylines.
It's true.
Which is
Yeah.
which is fine. I'm saying as a character, he's just the most off character
Yeah.
in a world of
It's
wacky
hard to- it's hard to
mutants and
sum him
aliens
up,
and everything
yeah.
else like that.
Again,
so.
we said he was very much the Dan Stevens of the X-Men.
Dan Snyder
Dan
versus
Snyder,
Dan
my
Dan
friend.
Snyder-
How
Dan
dare
Stevens,
you?
Sorry.
How
Uh,
dare
Dan
you
Stevens
forget
is
the
Stevens is
creative
American.
genius of Dan Snyder?
Lion of Love. Oh, sorry. Anyways,
Yeah.
It's almost as if he was brought back as the Ike Perlmutter of the Disney Marvel universe.
here we go. We're going in deep cuts here.
There you go.
Let's rate it. We
it'd be
we're
fives.
five across the
Yeah,
board.
five across the board.
Jesse,
What is the half?
everybody has a 5.
What is the half? Just because I didn't see what it was.
Yeah, we want to see the half just to see.
Oh, Rogue. Okay.
Yeah. Wait, I can't see what it is. Tell me what it is, because I'm blind.
Rogue from the original series with a fat ass.
Yeah.
Apocalypse with his fat ass.
Yeah.
There you go.
Apocalypse fat ass.
Rogue was my first comic book crush.
Yeah.
A lot of guys went for the Kitty Pryde because Kitty Pryde was closer to our age.
Yeah.
But I always found Rogue like because she could absorb people's powers, and I was just like, oh, that's amazing.
Mine was
Like I thought that was such a cool power.
Mine was, I think, when I started getting into it, it was maybe Power Girl was happening.
Well, that's fair because
And I think, you know, because
You
leaned-
picked well.
I
At that
leaned a little
age-
more DC
at that
the
age,
beginning.
that's fair.
Yeah, she showed up in a Superman comic.
Zatanna.
Zatanna.
Zatanna, excuse me.
Yeah,
Zatanna.
Zatanna's
Yeah,
great.
Zatanna.
Zatanna was great, but you know, Power Girl had that unnecessary cleavage.
Did you hear about the creator talking about that? Like he quit DC Comics, but he still had to do 5 parts just so he, as a joke, kept drawing her tits bigger to see if any, and no one complained. He was
No,
like,
but-
you're like, so.
Hey, to be fair, they were making Captain America's tits bigger at the same time.
Fucking
Over
yeah,
Marvel.
That's true.
So,
Fucking
Captain America's
Thank you,
chest,
Rob Liefeld.
Captain America's chest was, you know, twice the size of his whole body. So
God.
he was,
That
he was a literal triangle.
the profile picture meme of his of
Yeah.
him is
Yeah.
Exactly.
now speaking of Rogue, the fact that they let Rogue kill though it basically was immediately retconned, but kill
Yeah,
a guy
exactly. It was
but
retconned right after she
kill a
did it.
guy.
I love that she did
She
it.
did it,
I love
and everybody's
just
reaction
kinda like,
was
"Hey,
"Ah."
some motherfuckers gotta fall from windows,
Okay,
huh? Like
let's-
all the other actors
Scott's line of
instantly.
"Is this what we are now?"
Yeah.
Yes, Scott.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But that's
And Wolverine
In
not
the
giving
comics-
one
No.
fuck
Nope.
either. He's just like, bro, I've been doing this for 100 years.
Like
I don't even
in the
remember.
co-
I don't
in-
even
in the
remember
comics,
90% of it.
Yeah.
when Magneto started running them, they were a little meaner. They were more aggressive, and so them all like shrugging when she like took a fool and fucking chucked him off a rooftop. I was like, yeah, this is this is Magneto's.
They have had
X-Men.
nothing but examples of why to do that through this whole
Yeah.
season.
Mhm.
So it makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
That's a great segue into what we think these next couple episodes are going to be, because I'm just going to throw it out there. It's not a totally original thought. It's out there on the internet everywhere, but Avengers versus X-Men, I think they have alluded enough to, again, you know, you touched on this earlier, where it's like in the Marvels, they talked about, you know, how this writer was all about the Thing and Captain America. People who were given the powers because they maybe were more deserving of it, as opposed to people who are just born with the powers, which is the whole, you know, another allegory. But I think that's going to be a great thing. This is the humans. Like, we've created these things. We've created these humans to basically thwart you that are born with this. the Neanderthal versus, the Homo sapien kind of an argument as to, this new evolution. And then you have the Bastion thing on top of it.
I think the Bastion thing's always been tough for me because even the Night of the Sentinels, Night of the Living Sentinels is what I always call that shit. Whenever they have humans become Sentinel robots that can't die, it just becomes a zombie story.
Yeah.
I think it's going towards Strife. I think we're going to go into a Strife Cable storyline with Scott Summers and all them. I don't know if they ever tackled Strife in the original cartoon.
They put him as one of the Four Horsemen for a second, right?
Possibly.
Okay.
It wasn't much.
No, it was a very throwaway character at one point.
But the idea of like him maybe actually being the real son of Jean Grey and Cyclops and wind up being like this horrible dictator. And because we've had so much of the Summers in this, I really think we're going to pull back the curtain in the last couple episodes and we're going to see it Strife.
I think that you're not wrong about that. I think that it's going to be like the Shi'ar thing, that's going to be a thing that
could also be Apocalypse.
Big shelf. I think the Apocalypse thing is just a kind of whole reason why we have these set time points in here. But I don't know. Anyways, go on.
Yeah.
Magneto will be out of the picture at the end of this season.
Mm.
Not dead. He'll just be out of the picture.
Okay.
Chris Claremont, who wrote some of the best X-Men comics, said, I tried to kill Magneto every fucking issue because he's too powerful
He's gonna be on Asteroid M.
That's what he did.
You
That's what he did.
You have to do that because you had him EMP the
No, I know.
Earth.
That's my point. It's like he's
fucking Earth.
He's not
Earth.
Yeah, he's not gonna die.
No.
But he will be out at the end of this season.
Even if they die, you're not fooling me a fifth time.
Sure they are.
Lies.
Sure they
Bullshit.
Marvel, you've gotten me four
They're
fucking times where I was like, wow, they killed Magneto. I should get that issue and read that storyline. And you've done it to me 4 times now. I fell for it 4 times, never again.
Going into this episode, I had thought in the back of my head that they may introduce Cassandra Nova, and somehow this is a far-fetched tie-in to Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't think that she's going to show up in this season.
I think it may very well be
unless she's the very last character in this season.
End credit. They haven't done an end credit through this whole thing. They might have one at the very end of this.
I think that other than Magneto not being there anymore after this season, or he won't be in season 2, basically, is that they are setting up for House of M.
Yeah.
But
probably.
Okay.
Are they crazy? Are they crazy?
So much.
Are they crazy enough to end this season with those words? I don't know.
No,
like they've
no
taken
way.
from everything. They've taken from everything, which is great. Like keep taking from those comic book stories.
I think that we're all forgetting about the whole threading of the Sinister. Like we haven't even talked about Mr. Sinister in this at all. And he has been in since episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that he is somehow orchestrating something, but we have no idea what his fucking take in any of this is. And I think that's going to be the biggest reveal over these next 2 episodes.
He said what he wanted to do. He said he thought he's playing Bastion. It's like I'm using what Bastion's doing here to further my research and everything like that, and I'm greatest thing. But the thing is that Bastion has been using Sinister far longer than Sinister realizes, because the timeline on this is kind of established in this episode was that Sinister created the technovirus. I can't remember the whole name of the thing that Cable's infected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Cable being sent into the future is what ultimately created Bastion.
Yeah. And you're not right, and you're not wrong. I'm sorry.
Right. Fuck you.
You're not right either, but you're not wrong. You're
fair enough.
Fair enough.
You actually, hey, get the fuck out of here. You're not wrong, because I do very much think that Magneto getting out and doing what he did was Bastion's plan all along.
Oh yeah.
Bastion knew that Valerie was going to let him the fuck out and do exactly what he fucking did. So I don't know, but I still, it will be a little bit disappointing if that is what Sinister again is fucking, destined to be, is this kind of joke. Like Mr. Sinister's a fantastic X-Men bad guy that
Fucking
hasn't really gotten his fair.
fucking the line they gave him when Valerie walks in. It's
Least not to me is back.
Bastion, Bastion's Dr. Mangala, and Sinister just replies with, "I knew him. He was a great scientist until he became a Nazi lapdog." I was like, "Fuck." You were working with
it's like,
Mangala.
Even if Mr. Sinister is the big bad at the end of this season, that's still great.
No,
because Mr. Sinister is a great villain, and he hasn't gotten a lot of good, attention in any of the films and stuff. So, but whenever the X-Men are dealing with like their history and there's an ultimate villain, it's Apocalypse. Whenever we're dealing with the future and there's an ultimate villain, it's Strife. So it's like for me, there's if they're pulling from the comics. There's an obvious roadmap where we're headed.
Apocalypse enough in this particular cartoon series. They've done Phoenix enough in this particular cartoon series. So they've done Sinister already well in this series as well. So they could actually dump it. And Bastion could be the thing. And Bastion's a very interesting thing, and especially with the MCU tie-ins that they're trying to do with maybe Loki and Deadpool and all these things with the TVA stuff and this timeline that they're trying to do, which, we know they're doing Secret Wars. Okay? We know. What are they going to pull in? Everything's fair game at this point, right? And we're only going to find out more about that. And I think it would be very interesting if there's an end credit scene that leads into Cassandra Nova. It is just a tease, which... that's the bad guy in the Deadpool movie. That's awesome. We have one fucking movie. I think that if they're methodically doing this, we talk about writers on this all the time. Okay, let's talk about that. Individually, the Fallout series, you weren't super thrilled about how they ended this. This one is yet to be seen. But what about something that's not existed before? This Kevin Feige, this thing that's new to how are we doing this overarching thing where we're it's not new to the comic books, but it's new to cinema. It's new to this medium. I think that that's very important too. It's interesting to see how that's shifting to where we had during the pandemic and last year, where we shit on everything nearly, except for a few exclusive things, where they didn't seem to have someone at that point who was really railing everything in, where it's like, hey, we're doing an interesting new thing with media now that's never been done before. Okay, it's only been done in maybe comic books or something like that. Okay, or book series maybe. Okay, but now we're doing this legit in multimedia platforms where we have streaming services, we have movies, we have all these things that are going to tie in together. How are we going to fucking do that? And I think that they're getting this year, like the fact that they are having a very limited amount of series that are coming in and have one fucking movie this year.
Yep.
Like we went from, hey, our plan is to have 4 fucking movies and 8 series to, we're going to have a couple series and we're going to have movies. And we're going to have a series that is Xmen 97 that you're not even going to understand that's going to maybe tie into some shit, but we're going to give you some signs that it does. All right? And then we have one movie that's coming out this year. I think that that is a very interesting topic to talk about of what that is. And Kevin Feige's kind of been the only person that's doing that up to this point, but now we have James Gunn. Now we have, that's becoming a total legit, new artistic media position that has been created. It's kind of never been done.
If X-Men 97 has a tie-in to Deadpool and Wolverine that makes sense for this series, I think it further exemplifies the problem with Phase 4, in that Phase 4, Phase 1 through 3, we had this.
Why are you bringing up old shit?
I'm bringing up old shit to go with the new shit.
We are reviewing
Right.
X-Men 97.
Yes,
Yeah.
phases 1 through 3
Go 1 year.
had a plan on how everything went through. Individual movies varied in terms of their quality and everything like that, but it was a plan that went through. And then once Phase 3 ended with Endgame, then Phase 4 just became all right, let's do things.
Yeah.
Listen, I have to disagree with you a little bit. I think 1 through 2 was, holy shit, this is working out. Let's fucking figure out what we're gonna do. By Phase 3, I think by Phase 3, they did have a solid plan based on what worked and didn't work
Right.
from 1 and 2. Okay?
But
I think we're not giving them that. Look, Thor: The Dark World sucked.
it did.
Okay?
But they
You know what I
redeemed.
mean?
They redeemed
Age of
parts.
Ultron didn't mean shit until WandaVision came out. Like, they've retconned shit that we hated. Okay?
the comics.
We hated all this shit in the beginning. Now we have a reverence for it. We're not giving that same leeway to season to 4 and 5. Okay? We didn't give it to 4 at all. Okay?
Well, because 4 made it apparent that
Well,
we didn't have a
to
reason
be fair enough, 4 had as much as 1 through 3 had it all.
Yeah,
But-
4 also started strong and then immediately kind of petered off. The
Yeah,
pandemic had something to do with it, but at the same time, it did not, because
No.
you could make decisions. You
I
could
also-
not try to force 4 movies in the theater and everything like that.
Mhm.
But
And it's also like different what you like. Like Age of Ultron is one of my it's one of my higher Marvel films, and I know I'm in the minority on this. I know I absolutely am, but it's like I consider Age of Ultron a more solid film than Endgame or Infinity War.
Look, I really
Because-
love the original Avengers. I think
The first Avengers
think
is
the
my favorite
pulling off
comic
of
book
that-
movie ever made.
the pulling off of
Yeah.
that, it's been tried. Like, X-Men tried to do it. Fantastic Four tried to do it. And they did it with varying success. But
Yep.
the first Avengers movie was such an amazing fucking accomplishment in cinema.
It's
that
my
we don't
favorite
give it.
comic book
Yeah.
film.
100%.
Like it's my favorite. I love comic books. I love films.
And as much as
the
Joss Whedon is a fucking piece of shit in real life, like
he punched me in the face when I told him I liked the movie. But what are you gonna do?
the motherfucker,
Yep.
like, even when they announced that he was going to be it, look, I'm a big Buffy the I'm a big,
Yeah.
like, I'm a big what Joss Whedon created thing, not so much the person thing, but like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, I loved those fucking shows for the time.
Also at that time, we didn't know how terrible person.
No, we didn't
Joss
know that.
was.
But I knew at that time that he was the right person
Yeah, oh,
to
absolutely.
be able to do an ensemble cast like that.
He is right. He understands the characters better than everybody that wasn't punching everybody in the face.
Sure.
Like
Mhm.
it's not like I'm saying, "Hey, I'm so glad he abused all of you," but
Look, I have respect for yelling at
It wasn't Dan Snyder level.
it wasn't Dan Snyder. It wasn't. You didn't get
Terrible
abused and you
effort.
made. You didn't get abused and you made all that. You got abused and you made Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or you made Cabin in the Woods, or you made the first Avengers picture. You made actual art, and you made really solid art. And yeah, that sucks that happened, and I don't negate that happened or anything like that. But yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
but the
It's-
fact
it's-
is
it's
that
the
that
Quentin
one
Tarantino
person
thing.
was involved does not negate the
Yeah.
talented people
it's
that
like
worked on it.
Quentin Tarantino says the N-word a lot for a white guy. Yes, he does, and I hope he keeps doing it because like he writes amazing scripts. I don't know what to tell you.
Until Samuel
it
Jackson
becomes
tells
like-
him to stop. I'm good.
Ex- Exactly. It's really.
He's gonna be my weather vane for the Quentin Tarantino
Yep.
fucking argument forever. Hey, what's Sam say about it? All right.
All right.
Let's rate.
Wait, we rated.
Did we rate it?
We did.
Okay.
Here's a question for you. Who's gonna die?
Another person.
I'm pretty sure somebody else is gonna die.
I only think a bad guy dies. I think Bastion dies. That's my thing.
Oh,
Bastion dies.
we gotta go classic X-Men. We gotta go classic X-Men. Both Jean Greys will die. Both Jean Greys will die.
But did not Madeline already?
So here's the thing on that. The last picture you see of the episode, what do you see?
Tell me.
After Charles says, "Come to me, my X-Men." See,
The original X-Men fucking appear.
No. You see people pop up. You see Beast. You see, I forget who the second one was. Then you see who's supposed to be Jean Grey, but the problem is her hair's down. Even though
you're watching close
though
up.
Jean herself, Jean herself says Madeline is dead, she doesn't fully say it at any point in time. She like stops herself every single time she's about to say Madeline is dead when she's talking to Cable. But they made that point that her hair is up in the tail when it's Jean.
Okay.
Her hair is down when it's Madeline.
Okay, but do you think that physically Madeline is alive, or Madeline is a part of Jean Grey? That it is fucking split personality bullshit.
I think Madeline is alive, and I think they're going to use that more in season 2.
Okay, I think Madeline's consciousness is alive inside Jean Grey. What do you think?
I think Jean Grey and Madeline are both gonna die, and I think Wolverine's gonna go masturbate in the corner because they're both gonna die before they ever touch his cock. So.
Yep. And he's a short guy, so he could do it under the camera.
Man, and that's got to be heartbreaking to the short guys out there. It's like, man, you can be Wolverine and you still can't get laid. It's
all the short kings out there, right there.
We're thinking of you, short
Don't
kings.
even worry about it. Don't even worry about it.
Fucking Nightcrawler. Every line Nightcrawler has in this, every line Beast has in this is the perfect Beast line. Every line Nightcrawler has in this is the perfect Nightcrawler line.
There's not an imperfect line for any character in this.
I think that Rogue is going to die.
You think Rogue is going to die?
Because of all the characters, you can't kill Charles again, even though you never killed him in the first place. To the world, you can't kill Charles again.
No.
Yeah.
Because you already tried that bullshit with him. Nobody would believe at this time. It wouldn't impact us, but it wouldn't impact anybody else in the continuity of the series. Everything else like that. Rogue's journey right now seems to be that she is going to die in something as redeeming as what she tried to do in episode 5.
All right.
And I think she's going to save Magneto, and that'll be part of the reason why he's out.
I disagree. I don't think that she's going to die because I don't think that it's as impactful because no one left gives that much a fuck about it. Okay, the person who gave the most fuck about her dying, other than Magneto, I'll give you that, is Gambit. I think that they are setting her up to be way more of a leader character than she's ever been in the comics. I think they're giving Rogue that because she is so inherently separated from everyone else that she can step outside now that Gambit's gone and possibly Magneto is elsewhere at the end of this season. That she is one of the true people who can be neutral. Like, look, I see every side of this, and I have no direct connections with anything anymore. You know what I mean? That I can, be whatever. So I think that's a possibility.
More importantly, do you think Gambit could charge his cock?
I do think so.
I think so too. That's two.
What I would really like to see is.
Do I think so?
Gambit
yes. What do you know?
Because
then he no longer have a cock. Once it goes
I
off.
want Gambit to. I want to see the head of Gambit's cock.
Yep.
Like kinetic
If
up.
we can just cut that audio.
No, hold on.
Make our
This is your clip for your new TikTok famous shit. Okay, and then and then Magneto's cock does the woo woo woo,
Yeah,
and they can go together.
And-
all
but-
right?
but-
and then they hit Rogue's clit and fucking gushers.
Wait.
Gushers.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end. No. I'm gonna end this episode by bringing all of it together.
Yep.
Then you got to put the audio from Maximus talking about his head, his cock
Yes.
exploding like a pimple,
Yep. Throw that in.
over the top of
Yeah, there you
the
go.
top of all the imagery, and boom, perfect.
And that's what it's all about.
Thank you,
Thank
ladies
you
and
guys
gentlemen.
for joining us for Fine I'll Watch It. I'm Smokin' Fat Joe.
I am Matt Christy,
James.
and if
Cope.
you want to, do the social media
Yeah,
stuff and
like,
everything.
subscribe, do all those things. And
Yeah.
we'll see you
Or in
guys next time.
ourselves.
Yep. Bye.
Hey, there's stuff.